This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Monday, November 5th, 2018, episode 199. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Visit our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. We're here. It's a Monday. It's episode 199. Joining me, he's been here every single week. I think. Yes. I don't think you've ever... you did, actually. You did an episode alone during the hurricane, right?
I've been here every single week.
You have.
There was 1 week when you weren't there, but yeah, we have. I've done every single week. Yes.
I mean,
hold that.
Do I get a pass though?
There was the 1 week where I wasn't here. Dr. Disrespect was here that 1 week. So
true. Do I get a pass though?
Well, we can each say we missed one episode. How about that?
Yeah, but like I had an actual reason to miss the episode.
Yeah, you were in a hurricane. So I mean, I guess that kind of counts.
Okay. Well, that's good. What's going on, Brian? How are you?
I am doing well. So if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog, biteoftech.com, and make sure you go to our, as he said, go to our website. If you're not a part of our Discord, there's a link on the upper right that is a nice green button for joining our Discord. It's really easy. It's a free app. We have links to our YouTube, our Twitch. One thing that you may want to do is join our Steam group, because then you'll get a nice notification before the show starts. Just like today, we're having an episode on Monday. Maybe you didn't catch it on Twitter. Maybe you're not in our Discord to get a notification there. That's a nice way that you can get a notification right from your Steam client, and it'll let you know that we're doing a show at that exact time. So if you happen to be at your computer, you get a little notification that pops up. You can jump in and watch the live show, and it's a lot of fun. So make sure you do that. And it's infectionpodcast.com. And as you can see on there, 517 days and 7 days to die. Still not released Alpha 17. So we are waiting. And I haven't heard anything of that, like them hinting at when. They did show like, oh, here's some, what were they? Some graphics. There was like 3 things that they did. I'll have to pull those up, but that was pretty much the only update that they actually put out, was just of that information, which had nothing to do with anything important for release. That's
a fact. Brian, we're gonna have to do this live here. I'm gonna have you reconnect to a new URL here, because we've got some audio issues we got to work towards. So let me see if I can't get this to work. But yes, we are here. It's live. It's a Monday. I've got a work thing tomorrow that will not allow me to be here. So we're doing the show on a Monday, and let's see if we can't get Brian to get reconnected here, and we'll get all that sorted out here. But it's a Monday, 7 days to die, 517 days, and we'll wait for Brian to reconnect here and see what all goes on. Brian, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, let's get all that reconnected.
Hopefully. Yeah,
we'll see here how that all works out. So let's see. We played.
So I couldn't be there on Friday, but yeah, you guys played a game.
But you've been playing some of that as well, and that's Dead by Daylight, right?
Yeah, so I did play a few games with you guys outside of the Friday night.
Yes. But we played on Friday night, and we had a group of people playing, and I don't remember how much we talked about last week, but I'm still playing the game.
Yeah,
I played Saturday night. I think I played Saturday night after our D&D campaign, and I had a lot of fun playing. I've been playing with mostly Saul and Firebomb, and Jonesy's been in there, as well as Green Man has been playing with us as well, and we've had a great time. I don't believe I may have broken a piece of glassware playing. But
I heard about this.
With that being said, I didn't actually like rage out of the game. Like I haven't quit a game early. I just got upset once.
Now, is it bugs that are doing this, or is it just a player's really good? Like, what is it that's causing the rage?
Some jackass random. I mean, like just total
on
like,
your team,
sheer incompetence on my team. Just,
yeah.
I mean, like to the level of why are you playing the game?
Wasn't it like free? I mean, was it free here recently?
It
Or no, it was just
free.
really
It
discounted.
was $10. It was $9.99.
Yeah, so it was really discounted. So you probably just got some people that have no clue what they're doing that recently purchased it, and they don't have. The nice thing about playing in our group is we have some people with some really like what Firebomb has 1,000 hours or something in it.
Yeah.
There was free to play weekend as well, or free to play week.
It was after
so there was free to try.
It was after the free to play weekend. But I'll tell you what, in all of the let's see, let me open Steam here on my laptop. Of all of the hours that I've played, and I've played a decent amount now over the past 2 weeks or so.
Yeah.
Overall, my experience has been phenomenal. I've had maybe half a dozen games where it's just a random that just dies right away, or it just doesn't seem to be pulling their weight. Now, to be clear, you're not communicating with the person, so it's not like you're like, hey, do this, and they're like, no, F you, I'm going to do this other thing anyway. So you just kind of assume that everybody plays like you and plays with your same play style, which is not always the best way to do it. And freaking Steam is asking me to log in now, and it's asking me for my 2-factor code. So
you want me to look up your hours?
Yeah, is that easier for you to do? I mean, this is
yeah, I can do it.
Steam might be down. Maybe that's why it didn't log me in. But I really haven't had that many problems in the game. Yeah. The game's a lot of fun. It was on sale. It was on sale for $10. It is what I was hoping Friday the 13th was gonna be.
So you've done about 15 hours in the past 2 weeks.
15 hours, and I'd say I've probably had a handful of bad games, maybe. I mean, I'd say that's pretty good. No?
Yeah.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, most of my experiences have been pretty good. I haven't had anything crazy go on. I don't know.
So I think originally when we played the game, was it? I don't remember if it was a PAX or whatever. When we originally played it, maybe it was a free weekend or something. I think the issue at that point in time was they only had the one map.
Yep. This was pre-March 2017 when we played. This is a long time ago.
And they didn't have so they only had the one map. They didn't have a lot of different what do they call them?
Killers or survivors?
Killers, or I'm trying to remember what the killers. They didn't have a lot of the different killers on there, so there just wasn't the variation, and so it would feel more repetitive. And now they've got a number of different maps. They've got a lot of different killers on there, which I think is a really big difference just playing the game, because you have to change your play style based on all these different killers. You have to be more, you have to be aware, and you have to start to learn, okay, what does this killer, like, what does he do, or what do they do? And I think that makes a big difference to where it brings that variety into the game. So I think that's why us having played it back then, we didn't really bash the game, but it just wasn't this is a great game at that point in time, because it just wasn't, it was too much repetitiveness and not enough variety at that point. But they've done a very consistent job. I mean, I get emails from them on a very regular basis of, oh, we've added this killer, we've added this to it, we've changed this, and they've done a very consistent job of making it a game that I think a lot of people like playing now.
Now, our friend Donnie Plays is in the chat, and he is making the comment, which I agree with, and my experience is probably skewed in this respect. But he says, playing with randoms in Dead by Daylight is a nightmare. There's no way to communicate effectively. You also have to rely on teammates to succeed. That is accurate. And almost all of the games I've played, it's either been 2 other friends or 3 other friends, meaning 3 versus the killer and a random on our team, or 4 of us and then the killer. So in that respect, you do need to play with your friends. But Friday the 13th was exactly the same thing. If you didn't playing these games online where you are almost 100% reliant on other people to do things, you have to be playing with people that you're either communicating with or you know. I don't think that's a knock on Dead by Daylight. That's just this style of game. You have to rely on your teammates to work on generators while you're maybe getting chased around by the killer, or to get you off the hook after the killer's hooked you. But these games specifically require you can't quote unquote carry the team. It's not like a Call of Duty match or a Battlefield match where you can just go off and carry a team. The game only works if you have decent people to play with.
So now they're talking a little bit about last year, the Nightmare, which we of course did an interview. You did an interview at PAX for.
I was trying to get them on the show. Waiting back for an email.
We'll have to. We should reach out to them a little more, because I know that PH was playing it today. I watched him play it for a while. Nisco was saying that it seems like a solid game, and I think that that's a game that has a chance as well to kind of put more variety into it, because they have more of a story element. Each of the characters, it seems like they're fairly unique as far as abilities and things like that.
Yep.
I think that's another game that could really kind of come in and shake up the genre a little bit. Because
it could.
It's kind of hard to say how they need to get more variety. That's the thing, is they need to get to where it's not that just the gym. Like, they need to maybe have it progress through different areas. Like, you start at the school, I guess, then maybe you go into the town to a police station, something to where it's a series of different places that you can possibly go through, not just the one that we tested.
We played at PAX and we were unable to communicate with our teammates. So my experience in last year was awful, to say the least. It was terrible. Because the communication between the teammates wasn't working. So Brian and I were sitting next to each other. Well, I mean, that's fine. But this is another game that, again, you can't say, oh, well, this game is great, but Dead by Daylight sucks because there's randoms. Both games are identical in the respect that you have to be playing with either people that you know or people that you can communicate with. Both games. I mean, that's just the way it is. Any game like this requires you to have communication with teammates. Dead by Daylight doesn't even have communication in the game. Some would argue that that's a problem. Others would say, well, that means you need to be playing with three other people that you know.
Friends.
Exactly. You need to be playing with friends. So,
well, and when PH was playing, the part of the issue is with it being a Discord game, it automatically has voice chat on. You can't really turn it off, which could be a nightmare. I mean, that could be a problem. But with him, he would surf lobbies until he found one that had people with mics in it. Because you'll still have people that don't have mics. They have the game, but they don't have mics, so they're not actually saying anything. Okay, so PH said they just pushed out a patch today with push to talk. Wow. So that's good.
Impressive.
Yeah, so because he was playing earlier today and there was no push to talk. It just would be open mic all the time.
Mind blowing.
So they changed that, but now part of the issue is you can't guarantee that everybody has a mic. That everybody has a chance to, but he would go into rooms where maybe they're speaking different languages, or they weren't talking at all. These kind of games need people talking and communicating for it to truly be fun. So I think it's still a play with friends for the most part type of game.
Yes, and I think they strive in that way, right? I mean, I see Saul playing it all the time. I can only imagine he's playing with random people, but the game kind of, I think Dead by Daylight excels in its teamwork, right? I mean, that's what makes it so exciting. That's what gives it its thrill in my opinion is the whole teamwork aspect and playing with people that you're comfortable with. Everybody that we've played with, Brian, it's people that we know. It's people we've played with. And Firebomb's asking, what if you have no friends? That's a problem in these games. I mean, I don't know how, unless you're playing as the killer. Now that there's no communication, but that's a problem. That was
one thing I think I saw with PH's game, that the killer was in on the voice chat, which was kind of weird. I think they definitely need to fix that to where the killer doesn't have the ability to hear the other people communicating. I don't think that. I think that kind of hurts a little bit. I don't know if they're just haven't figured that part out yet. They need to figure out how in Discord to make it so that it actually separates them out and figures that out. But it seems like it right now just connects them to Discord and they're all on the same channel. So they'll have to figure that out.
Yeah. So I really have been enjoying Dead by Daylight. It's relatively casual in that respect. I mean, it's tough. It's not an easy game by any stretch. But in terms of bugs, to my experience, I haven't run into any. There's been no bugs that I've run into.
Well, and I think that it has more of a skill gap. So that, because I mean, we had mentioned last week when we played with that person who just wrecked us.
Yeah.
Like they knew their character, they had a lot of skill, they were able to dominate. What the game did not smooth it out. It wasn't like, okay, you only have the ability to be so much better than someone else. Like you can play it to the best of your ability and get very good at it, which is good for the competitive type of scene, for people who want to play with other people that are really good, or get with a group of players that play quite a bit. Like that, it'll make it to where it makes a difference, which I think is a benefit to this type of game.
I agree. So there's a couple games out there. We've reached out to the Last Year Nightmare people. They didn't email me back. So I mean that's.
Let's try again. Yeah.
I mean I guess I showed our PAX video and all. So I mean whatever. They don't want to talk about it. It's fine with me. So those are two games. Maybe they're pissed off because I asked I asked Justin how he's going to compete.
Oh, it was different.
Yeah, how it was different than Dead by Daylight and Friday the 13th. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But those are two games to keep out on your radar. And Last Year the Nightmare is a new one. And again, it's a Discord. It's not out yet. It'll be a Discord exclusive for 90 days or 60 days, I think, on launch. I think 90 days, 3 months.
I think I don't remember. It was one of those.
So that'll be that when that's out. That's what it'll be. And I think we covered it last week. I think we covered the patch, the notes last week with that game. So that was Dead by Daylight. We played that Friday night for our game of the week, and Last Year the Nightmare. Now, Brian, I see we've got blanks here for this week. What are we doing for game of the week?
Yeah. So I was trying to remember. Do we have a game coming out this week?
I don't know. Do we?
Let me double check. Arc.
Oh, I think Arc does come out this week.
Yes. So it comes out tomorrow, in fact. So,
wow.
Do you guys? I mean, okay. First of all, the question is: does everybody have the season pass?
No.
Right. So that'll be the issue. Is either people will have to purchase this individually, or they'll have to have had the season pass. If they don't, then there'll be a very limited number of people that actually could play it on a Friday night, which I think would take away from the experience. So that is my concern. Is it would be fun to do it, but it's not like the base Arc. You'd have to actually own this DLC. So that's my concern.
Yes. So Firebomb's reminding us that Overkill's The Walking Dead comes out tomorrow. Battlefield 5 comes out. So we got lots of stuff coming out. I won't be playing any
also,
of those
Destiny
games.
2 is free, but the thing is, Destiny 2, there's a big level gap. Like if you doing PvP with people that are max level, is you die a bunch.
You know what's probably a good idea?
Guns make a huge difference in that game.
It's been a couple weeks since we've done an actual one. Why don't we do the Call of Duty BR again? We only did that once, and that was the day it came out.
Sure.
That sounds like a good idea?
That's what I figured we might do.
It's been a while since
because I haven't played it. I haven't played the BR. I've been playing the multiplayer.
I haven't played it since Red Dead.
Well, but when I play on the PC here, I just play the multiplayer. I don't play because I don't enjoy playing it with randoms, and I don't like playing it by myself. I'd rather play it with you guys.
Yeah. So
we'll do Arc. I'll set up a server for Arc, but we'll not do it as Friday nights game night. We'll just set up a server and want to get people in there because there will be only a certain number of people that are playing.
I don't have it for
the new Arc expansion.
I know a whole bunch of people that don't have it. All right, so we'll see you Friday night. We'll be playing some Call of Duty. That'll be on our Discord channel. The link for that, the link for that and everything else is on our website. That's infectionpodcast.com. That's how that's going to go down. We'll see you at 8 o'clock on Friday night, and yeah, there we go.
Very good. Yeah, so we got tons of games. Those are the things. We got tons of games coming out in the next 2 weeks. Also, we've got Red Dead Redemption 2 online should be coming out hopefully on the 9th.
Well, that's rude.
I don't know. I've seen That's, yeah, I've seen rumors of that, but then I've seen them delete those rumors. So, I mean, it's got to come out in the next 3 weeks. So we'll see when that happens. And we can talk a little bit about Red Dead here in a bit. But do you mind if we talk a little bit about a game that was announced at BlizzCon this week?
Sure.
And ended up being somewhat controversial.
Okay.
And I want to get your opinion on whether or not you think this is being blown up bigger than it should be, or if it matters. Blizzard at BlizzCon announced
what is BlizzCon?
So this is the conference for Blizzard games. I mean, it's got World of Warcraft. Yeah. It has they've got all these different games that they have under the Battle.net launcher.
Think of it as that E3, but for all Blizzard titles, essentially.
Yeah, because I mean, they've got World of Warcraft, Diablos, StarCrafts, Hearthstone is even, it has a presence there. Heroes of the Storm, Overwatch, which is a huge game. And they have now, I don't know if Black Ops or Destiny 2, I think those are separate from this. Yeah, they're in the Battle.net launcher,
but it's Activision.
But I don't know that but they're separate. They're not actual Blizzard doing them. But they've announced a number of things. So this one they announced, and it's a game. It's a game called Diablo Immortal, and it's supposed to be one that's between. It's right before Diablo 3, so in the story. And so it picks up where Diablo 2 left off, the Lord of Destruction, and then right before Diablo 3. There's actually, I don't know, there's a video. Do you want to play the video that's just like the intro?
It's a Twitter.
Will it let you?
It will, but it's long and the quality is garbage.
It's always 3 minutes. Yeah, we don't need that. Okay. So this is a game that the biggest thing is this game is people that are going to BlizzCon, they want a PC game. They don't want a mobile game. And so here's some questions. If you could do this first YouTube video, yes, it's not very long.
Well, okay, so Diablo's been out since when? The first Diablo came out in what, the 90s? It's been
it would have been in the 90s.
The mid 90s, I guess. The first Diablo came out. Diablo's a long. How do they have four Diablos? I know they've got 1, 2, 3. And
Diablo 3 is the more recent, but then they have like DLCs and things for that.
That are almost like full essential games. So they've got Diablo's a very well-known, long-standing franchise. 96 according to Firebomb. So we've got that, and
1996,
and it's people.
And there's 3 different games, 3 main titles.
Three main titles. So now they've got this new, essentially mobile game coming out, and this whole Q&A that they did with
afterwards. So this is when people were able to ask questions. So they announced it initially, and this is where people were able to come up afterwards and ask questions.
Hi, Lord Fluffy, face of Diablo. I was curious.
Fluffy.
I was curious. I see a lot of mechanics that we've kind of been begging for in Diablo 3 in this. Is there any plans to make this playable on PC, or is this strictly mobile forever?
Are there any? The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
So that was one of the situations.
Like that response. Do you guys not have phones? Which is a legitimate statement. This is a game they're making it for mobile and tablets only, but people are very upset. Now, one thing is there's a game that's almost identical to this, as far as the layout and the mechanics and everything. And so people are feeling like this is a reskin that Blizzard, they just kind of cleaned up that game and made it look a little bit better. So I know some people are frustrated about that. They don't feel like it's really a Blizzard game.
So they're saying that this is a reskin of an already existing Blizzard mobile game or another game?
Not a Blizzard mobile, but some other game out of China or something.
Oh, okay.
The buttons are identical, like the layout, the mechanics, like how it's just better graphics. It's like the same game, but better graphics.
So over the past couple weeks on the show, well, the past couple months now, we've been doing some of these more long form conversations, and this is a good one for this week. And this goes into the conversation of mobile and PC, and where do you find that middle ground? Now, there are certain games, and we'll go over a couple of examples. A game like Fortnite and PUBG. Both of those games was started on the PC or consoles, respectively, and adapted mobile versions into the game. Now, I don't know what the current player base on iOS is. I played it a little bit right when it first came out, and I used to play it every once in a while, but I've since deleted it from my phone because, frankly, it's just not that great of an experience. I've got the largest iPhone 8 that they sell, the 8 Plus. It's a large phone, but even a phone this size is still not ideal, in my opinion, for playing a game in a longer term. I mean, it's cool at the start and it's fun, but long term it doesn't really work. So, that's kind of the question: is a game like Diablo, which will be modified for mobile, obviously, but is this? There's a lot of conversation about this being a game, this being more popular maybe overseas in Asia, where mobile games and playing games on the go are more popular, aka the Nintendo Switch, sell way more in Japan, where it's a lot more common to walk around with something and play games, sit on the subway and play on the Nintendo Switch. And Nintendo tried bringing that to America, and it worked all right, but most people that play the Nintendo Switch have it docked in their TV and use a controller. It's just different. It's just different culturally. So
do you mind if I give you some numbers to kind of help you understand like why they're doing this? Because the mobile market is huge.
Oh, it's massive. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, if you look at something like Candy Crush, which, whatever, the Candy Crush saga, it grosses $819 million. Candy Crush Soda Saga, which is just a variation of it, $614 million. Clash Royale, $370 million. Clash of Clans, $323 million. I mean, these are big numbers that they look at for yearly revenue, and they're like, okay, these are fairly simple games, right?
But see, that's the thing. You're talking about a puzzle game like Bejeweled, essentially. All these games kind of started with Bejeweled was the popular PC game in the 90s. Those games adapted to mobile. Works on a phone, works on a device like this, in my opinion. Again, I'm not claiming to be the expert, but works on a device like this. Why does this damn screen keep lighting up? You move the little pieces around and whatnot.
Yeah,
we're talking about a full-fledged game, and our friend Ross in chat says, I know people whose entire friend group / colleagues play PUBG on mobile. It's weird to me, but it happens. I think it's kind of like PC players not understanding the console market. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, maybe it's just that we can't.
Right now, the video game, the mobile video game market is, I think, about 60-something billion. I think it's approaching 60 billion right now. And at the rate that it's been growing since 2014, next year they're looking at being about 63 billions to maybe a little higher. And then in 2020, they're looking at it being a $72 billion industry.
So how do we massive, but how do we differentiate games like Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, whatever you said, and Candy Crush and the Christmas whatever all these games are? How do we differentiate those?
I've never even heard of.
But how do we differentiate those games, Brian, from PUBG and Fortnite mobile and Diablo mobile and name the popular PC console title mobile? Because they're two different things. They're two different player. I mean, the fact that I would even call a player base is bizarre to me. But they're two totally different things. One is more of a casual time passer that a lot of people play. My mother play every single night. Probably 9:30 would sit down on the couch with her iPad and be playing whatever these swipe. I don't even know what you call them. These swipe games almost every single night. But I would.
So here's the issue: the average time that someone plays a game on mobile is 23 minutes per day.
That's very short.
Yeah, and so that's the issue. Is you look at a game like PUBG Mobile. That's one game is a big chunk of that. So their issue is they need to figure out how to shorten that time down because people want to have multiple games per day. That's the beauty of these Candy Crush games and Clash Royale is you can go in and play for 10, 20 minutes and you've pretty much done what you can do for the day. Like they've got it down to where that amount of time is the perfect amount to do your daily quest, to open the number of chests you need to open, to get the number of things, like all the stuff that you can do in that time, they've got down to that amount of time that they play.
Yeah.
PUBG Mobile has not done that. So there are people that are playing it, but you have to worry about internet connections at that point. If you're on a mobile, you have to worry about battery life, all these things that are affecting you, that to where in an hour is just not a reasonable amount of time because you can't necessarily guarantee an hour-long consistent connection on a mobile device. And also your battery life may be dying. You can't guarantee an hour on that. So this game, if they can get it to where there's enough like flash and bang, like short term, okay, I've got this. I was trying to get this one thing done. I got it done in 15 minutes. Like if they can get them down to less than 15-minute increments, then maybe people will play it consistently. But I think that's the big downside of the game type of games that we play. You just don't see them go over to mobile well.
Well, and I think part of the other thing we're talking about here is the mobile, one of the reasons I've really been seriously looking at getting a Nintendo Switch for a while now, since it first came out. For people that remember the Crummy Show I used to do with my friend Jake, he big Nintendo guy, and I was there. I went over to his house the day he got the Switch, and the system is super cool. The reason I have yet to buy one is because what I think I will use it for, which is like, oh, I could bring it, I carry a backpack around with me all the time because of my job. At any given point, I need to use my computer to deal with an issue. Thinking, oh, I'll just throw it in my backpack, right? And when I've got some downtime, I'll play whatever it is. And I think that's exactly why you said that they play 23 minutes total a day. It's a time passer. And frankly, if you were playing a game like Red Dead Redemption on the Nintendo Switch, which it's not on, but if you were playing Red Dead Redemption on the Nintendo Switch in those little increments, you would never play or finish the game. You never would. It's not enough time. And that's exactly why I find myself not buying a Nintendo Switch, because I'm realizing the only time I'm ever going to play is when I'm home and sitting in front of the TV, which frankly, I'm not enough now to play. But frankly, I'm not even home enough now to play the games I want to play. So adding this to the mix is not going to do me any good. I'm just going to piss away $400, price of the system plus a couple games. So that's my issue with the Switch. That's my issue with these mobile games is I don't know if it's a cultural thing in America versus some Asian culture where it's just not a thing. Look at the
numbers, though. Okay. So here's some more numbers. So 193 million people in the United States pretty much are mobile, would consider themselves mobile gamers. Out of the whole world is 2.1 billion.
Wow.
So we are a very small fraction of the mobile gaming market. So you're right. The majority of people that are playing mobile games are playing them in places like China. I mean, we keep hearing about China. China controls the gaming market.
Well, it's China and Japan. It's China and Japan because Nintendo is like
and Korea.
And Korea,
China, Japan, and Korea. But you look at China numbers wise, they have such a giant chunk of the players. And really, I mean, if you look at the age groups, I think the mobile market's a little more diverse than what the PC market and even the console market is. For the mobile market, 20% of the players are like 25 to 34. 23% are 65 and older, which is you don't really hear that very often. 19% are from 34 to 44. 15% are from 45 to 54. So that's a huge percentage. You know, that only leaves like 8% are from 13 to 17, which you figure would be higher, but it's not. I mean, it's older people playing, and it's most of the rest of the world playing, not people in the United States.
But I don't know how long you've had smartphones, but I've had a smartphone since the iPhone 3G came out. AT&T, actually, I think it was Singular at the time, Apple released the iPhone 3G on it. Didn't even have an app store. And then I got the 3GS, and then I think I had 2 or 3 Android phones, then an iPhone. I've had a smartphone pretty much as long as they've been out, and I'm sure you've had some. I'm sure you've had, and you probably had things before that with running Windows, whatever, mobile, and all that other stuff. Yeah. So you've had phones, you've had smartphones for a long time too. Have you ever played a mobile game for any extensive period of time on your phone? For any extensive period of time?
Yeah, I played that one MOBA, the
Vainglory.
Yeah, I played that a decent amount.
But weren't you playing that like at night, at home, with your wife?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, that's not, that doesn't, that's
on
the problem.
Road, it required a consistent internet connection, and that's the issue. Maybe this game, if it's not really that highly reliant on online, if it's a fun enough game by itself, maybe that'll be a difference. But most of these games, if you look at Clash of Clans and things like that, they're such short bursts, and you know, you can have your internet drop and it causes a problem, but the games are over quickly enough to where, you know, maybe you can get it back and have it not be an issue. If it's a long, persistent, over time connection, that's where you would run into problems with games like that, like Vainglory. Is it required 15 minutes? They had different modes, but like 5 to 15 minutes of constant internet connection.
GF Disturbed in the chat is saying, I've had a smartphone with unlimited data since 2008, never been a mobile gamer. And again, this is a small subset of people. Most of the people in our community are PC gamers, but I have never, and likewise, I've just never played. When I was in high school, I played Clash of Clans for maybe 2 months. But it was just because I'm going to say I was peer pressured into playing, but it was just like all of the people I like hung around with.
My wife asked me to play Clash Royale. She was like, will you do, you know, because people quit. People are unreliable on the internet. So she's like, will you do a couple rounds with me in the duos or whatever to get her chest? But
see, like, that's the thing is the people I hung around with during our, you know, our study hall times or lunch or whatever all played. So there was a period of time where I was like, well, either hop on the train or just sit here like a jackass while everybody else plays. So I played, but that was the extent of it. So maybe 2 months of Clash of Clans, and that at this point would have been probably 4 or 5 years ago. But other than that, I mean, the folder that I've got listed as games on my phone is the Steam app, the Twitch app, the Battle.net Authenticator, Discord, Xbox, and PlayStation. There's no games in there. I don't have any mobile games at this point installed on my phone. And I never I really never have. And I don't know.
I'll play like 1 or 2. The thing is I cycle which one I'm playing, what game I'm playing. And because there's usually not enough depth to them to hold my interest over a long period of time. Because for them to be mobile, they tend to have to be shallow games.
They have to be what? You broke up there.
Shallow games.
One more time.
Shallow.
Gotcha.
Yeah, just no depth to them.
Oh no, well you're right. I mean they don't, because it's just I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I can't even watch YouTube videos on my phone. I can't. The screen is just too small. I can't get into it. I mean, I enjoy my phone. I use it. I'm on it all the time, but I can't watch media on it. I don't understand how people watch movies and whatnot on their phone. I'm dumbfounded by that. So maybe we're just totally off base here. If you are maybe listening to this after the fact and you're not in the Twitch chat, you can tweet us at InfectionCast, or send us an email, contact@infectionpodcast.com. I'm really curious on who is playing mobile games, how often you're playing them, and is there really now? I'll give you another game I played on mobile for a while. That was Fallout Shelter, but that was a very short period of time. Like I want to say less than 2 weeks I played that, and then that was done.
You couldn't like I hit a cap on the number of buildings you could have on it. Like in the first couple weeks, like it wouldn't let me add any more rooms, and everything was maxed out. Like I don't know if they didn't think it through.
Did you play it? Did you play it right when it came out?
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't have enough content. After 2 weeks, you hit a content block, and it was like, oh well, this was fun.
Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to do? Send my people out and just get more useless stuff that I'm not going to need? Like it hit a point where so I just stopped playing it altogether.
Yes, I had the exact same experience. So in the however many years I've been had a mobile phone, I don't know what you want to call it, 7 or 8 years, 9 years, I've played maybe 4 or 5 games. I remember I've played, I remember Angry Birds was a popular one. I never played that. I'm trying to think of other like big pop, but again, all of those games are mobile games. They are games that were designed and developed with mobile in mind. Angry Birds, the Fruit Ninja, all these other these games were 100% designed with you sitting in front of your phone screen and playing.
Yeah.
This Diablo game is designed with mobile, but it's taking Diablo, which has been a PC game since the mid 1990s, and pushing that concept, which is how did they classify it? They classified it as an MMO. They called it on their Twitter, they called it an MMO ARPG. So they're taking an MMO concept from, at this point, 25 years ago, and pushing that on mobile. And that's different. Ark Mobile is another example of a game that it was just awful. It was just terrible. And it didn't hold my attention span because Ark is a game that you literally have got to put hundreds of hours into. You don't just casually play Ark. Ark is to get anything done significantly in Ark, you have got to invest time, serious time. We played Ark for 3 months or 2.5 months, every waking hour of every day for 2 months. We played Ark. That is how you play those games. You can't casually play Ark. One of the dinosaur tames that Ross and I did over Thanksgiving was like 17 hours that we had people on the call for 17 hours watching this stupid ass dinosaur tame. How do you do that on a phone?
Well, and that is the issue, is these type of games. I mean, it's like I tried to play Minecraft on a phone. It just doesn't work. I mean, all the different blocks and trying to just move around. First of all, trying to move your character in a 360-degree world on a mobile device just doesn't work. It has to be incredibly simple. With this, it is an overhead view game, which helps.
Yeah.
There are games that just do not carry over at all, which Ark is one of them. It is a 360-degree, and you have to jump in your inventory and use all these different items and do all these different things. And you can't just put the phone down for a few minutes to go and do something because it's going to mess up your tame or you're going to die randomly. Like, these games just do not carry over.
Well, the combat is impossible. I mean, you're trying to run away from
on the PC as well, though.
You're running away from a raptor on your phone, trying to attack it with stone tools. I mean, it's a joke. It's ridiculous.
So I think this is going to be where there will be games that maybe do a crossover well. Maybe this game will crossover well, but it's going to have to be a game that is designed first. Just like, one thing we talked about was Fortnite was designed perfectly for console and PC integration. Both of them, because they designed it with one in mind and made it work perfectly on both.
Yep.
You're going to have a game that is designed with mobile in mind, not, we're going to copy a PC game and make it work on a mobile. It can't be that. They have to look at how can we have the best playing mobile game, and design it in that way that has all the benefits of what the PC game has, but it has to be mobile first. And if they did that with this one, great. But if they try to carry because they're delivering this to hardcore Diablo fans. That's tough when you have an existing title.
These people are like legit gamer. I mean, people that most of the case, people that are playing Diablo, I mean, they're pretty into it, right? Like, you're a PC gamer.
And I think that was the kicker here is people were asking, well, is it going to have the in-depth like crafting, or all this like weapons, and that's what they're asking at this. They were asking, well, are you going to have the depth of the PC game in this mobile game? And I think that's the problem with using an existing title like this, is people will go in and say, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, or they're going to include that stuff and it's just going to make the game unplayable on a mobile device.
Oh, let me read you right now on iOS the top 10 free games under the top charts. Fireballs 3D, Stickman Hook, Helix Jump, Paper.io 2, Word Story, Flip Trickster, Skitty Car, Spinner.io, Color Bump, and Happy Glass. Now, all 10 of these games are literal mobile games. Now, Fortnite is 13th on the list. 14th is like a Words with Friends. Old School RuneScape is actually pretty high up here, which is at 16th. I actually have to download that and try that. I like RuneScape. And then Trivia Crack, which is, people know that's like a trivia question game, is 19th. On the paid side, Minecraft is the first one. A party game is the second. A trivia game is the second one. And then there's a couple of Stardew Valley is on here. And then there's a couple of other games are listed on here under the top paid. But most of these games, looking at the top skimming through the top 25 charts, are mobile games. Stickman Jump and matching I don't even, it's just, they're mobile games. I don't know how to describe them. They're mobile games. And I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you can take a game like Diablo.
Let's look at H1Z1. They're making a bet that people are going to want to play EverQuest and all these other games that were Daybreak titles, or Daybreak titles on mobile, because that whole NantG thing is taking all of the existing Daybreak titles, which are all based on old technology, which if they can do it right, plays well. If they can make an engine that works well on a mobile device that handles all that old technology, EverQuest could be very fun. It's a simple enough game, right? The game itself is simple enough to where that could be a really fun, because it's a huge world. Could be a lot of fun on a mobile. But I kind of shared some screenshots this past week of what the EverQuest client looks like and the user interface on EverQuest. If they try to put that, I mean, it's almost unplayable with a mouse and keyboard, let alone putting it on a tablet. I don't know, like a game like that, unless they go through and incredibly simplify it. How are they? And like RuneScape, I never played RuneScape, but
you're missing out.
If it's too complicated, then people aren't. It's just they may play it for a short period of time because of, oh, I remember this. This brings back some memories. It's not a long-term game.
Well, I just installed the Old School RuneScape and it crashed my phone. Oh, here we go. It's loading. I'll report back. I'm gonna give this a try during this week. I'm gonna.
One game I did play. I did. Let me look up what this game was. There's a game that is based off of a very old Bard's Tale. Bard's Tale is an old game that has, it's all voice acted. It was put out a while ago, but they remade it for mobile and they did a good job because it was an overhead view, simple combat, things like that. But that's one that when I'm going on a trip and I know I'm going to be in an airport or something for it's offline. But when I know I'm going to be in an airport for a period of time, I will sit and I'll play that game. And I'm trying to remember when it was released. I think it was 2005 when it was put out originally. And it's, it's a game that was put out and has a lot of content, took a lot of time to make it, and they've remastered it and put it on mobile. And I think that's a good way to do it if you can simplify it enough. They could do the exact same thing with EverQuest, but if they can't simplify it to where it's 3 buttons for combat, or something like that, and then you have your left hand doing movement. If they can't do that, then they might. I don't know why they're wasting their time.
Can't remember my RuneScape password. I'll do this after the show. But I'll give that a try throughout the week. I enjoyed RuneScape when it came out. I played a lot of it, but it's just I'll probably play for 2 weeks and I'll be like, yeah. But then it'll just drop right off because how much it's never, okay, here's the thing. It's never a good experience, right? It's never a good experience. I'm not saying it's a bad experience, but it's never that good. So when I get home and I've got the opportunity to sit in front of my computer and play games or flip around here and play one of the dozen game consoles I have, which I don't use, I will do that 99% of the time because it's much more convenient, and frankly, it's just a better experience. It's an experience problem, Brian. That's it. It's just it's an experience problem, and that's why I'm so hesitant to buy a Nintendo Switch, because I have a feeling the second I put that thing in my bag and walk around with it, I'm going to find that there is not any point in time in which I want to sit down and play the game for 8.5 minutes or 12 minutes while I've got a break here, or 22 minutes while I'm waiting for waiting in a doctor's office or waiting for an appointment to start. Right? That is not going to be a good experience for me. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just me. I'm curious what other people think, because I do think it's interesting. And boy, is the internet ripping Blizzard a new one over this Diablo mobile thing. Our gaming is literally just meme after meme of this, and just I don't even know.
The thing is, they should have announced something Diablo PC, because that's mainly what they came for. If you're a Diablo fan and you went for something Diablo that would be in your player market. They should have done that and then announced this, because the issue is this was the Diablo announcement. So people coming there specifically for Diablo, they didn't want to hear about a mobile game.
Well, according to PH, there was supposed to release Diablo 4, but something happened with that. So this was their backup. But like, this is what Reddit has been full of. Like, oh, here's the new Diablo title.
Diablo Immortal, yeah.
And it's just a stupid game from the 80s with a couple, just a couple back and forth buttons and an attack button.
Sure, that was fun back then.
Exactly, but it's like, how do you take? We already talked about it. I don't want to rehash my entire conversation again. But it's just,
all right. So I put a picture. I want to show people the EverQuest UI. I put a link at the top.
Jesus.
But this is, so they're looking. Nancy is looking at making this game. Go and put it up there.
You've got a real axe to grind with. What happened? Did EverQuest touch you inappropriately at some point? You've got a real axe to grind with these people.
No, the thing is, I logged in and tried to play it again, and I couldn't figure out how to do anything.
You're leaving mean comments on your personal Facebook account on the EverQuest page. You've got a real axe to grind with these people, and I can't figure out what went wrong.
I want them to figure out. It was about the UI. I mean, look. Okay, so the thing is,
but hold on. Did you have like a virtual girlfriend that dumped you on?
No, here's why I'm upset. Because this game has persistent death. So if I die, I have to go and find the place where I was at and go get my corpse again. And that can be a long ways away. And the interface is so complicated that I'm afraid that if I leave the place where I'm at right now, I will die and I'll never get my stuff back. That is my concern, because it's so complicated. I can't figure out how to even do I can do a few attacks, but the interface is so complicated. I can't even remember how to play the game anymore. And the interface is not helping. I mean, if you look at that, does that make sense? I can't even figure out how to change buttons on my taskbar. And I played this game for a while. They haven't updated it in what, 20 years?
I'm not sure.
1998, right? Yeah, 20 years. They haven't updated the interface in 20 years. This is what it looked like when I played back then. And they're going to convert this to a mobile game. They haven't done a bit of improvement on it in 20 years. They're getting ready to release a DLC for it. They're releasing a whole new expansion. But the interface still looks like this. It's so confusing. I don't know how in the world they're going to convert this to mobile. Like, just look at all that stuff. That's what they have to keep on their screen to be able to do things. That's not like opening up menus. That's with everything. Nothing. When the inventory is open, it covers the whole main screen.
I don't know, dude.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out in my head how they're going to make this mobile.
I don't know. Trying to recover my RuneScape account. All right. Well, I think that's.
How about you play the last video? It's short.
I can play that. Oh crap.
This was what somebody had asked a few questions later after whether the person who asked if this is going to come to PC eventually. And here's another person who asked another question that I don't think they were expecting.
Hey, just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No, it's a fully fledged Diablo experience on mobile. Which
see, we can't get into this anymore. But that's the problem. You cannot. You can't say that. This is a full-fledged Diablo experience, a very in-depth game. It's a crazy-ass UI. Like, I've seen the Diablo UI. There's a lot of stuff going on in the Diablo. You can't have full-fledged Diablo UI on a freaking phone. Yeah. That is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. That's not a coherent argument.
I think they just want people. They wanted people to like it so much, and it would have been better if they would have come out saying, you know what, we wanted to have the new Diablo 4 out. We wanted to announce it. Something happened to where it's delaying our plans, but to temporarily, meet your needs, we're putting out this game so you can have some new Diablo content, just waiting for that new title to be released. That would have been a good way to where it wasn't a, hey, no, this is Diablo. What are you talking about? This is everything. This is what you wanted. I mean, that's pretty much what they're telling them. This is a full-fledged Diablo experience. Don't you have a phone? I mean, that's what they said. I think that was not the way to approach it. They should have approached it as, this is something. The problem is they had one of the lead guys that developed this announce it. Because he doesn't want to say, you know what, this isn't exactly what you wanted, but here's what I made. He's not going to say that. They need to have somebody who is higher up that would come out and say, okay, this isn't, this isn't Diablo 4, but this will be something that's fun that you guys can enjoy until Diablo 4 comes out. I think they would have had a much better PR experience and not have this nightmare if they would have padded it in that way.
I don't know, man. I think this is very similar to, I think you can draw a lot of parallels between what this might be and what we're kind of seeing with Fallout 76. And this is probably a good segue where you just, what was I don't know if you still have the numbers handy. You said this is a $62 billion industry, mobile gaming?
Yes. So mobile gaming is, yeah, it's about, I mean, right now it's probably closer to, it's just about 60 billion right now.
So they're
looking at years, it'll be 70 billion, 72 billion.
And that's it. Like, that's it right there. So you're talking about a company like Blizzard, who's not stupid, right? They know what they're doing. They've been in this business a long time. There is this looming industry, $60 billion industry over here that's on mobile gaming. And there is this, I'm sure this is pressure coming from the top to get a piece of that pie, because that's a lot of money out there. Blizzard's got a lot of experience developing games, and they're trying to do it. You can make the exact same parallel with Fallout 76. You've got this big looming microtransaction online multiplayer community, and Fallout decided, hey, Bethesda decided, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make our game online. It's the looming thing. It's the shiny object in the corner. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Don't you see this kind of like what happened with us in H1Z1, where a company saw the China money, right? I mean, with H1Z, and if you look what happened is they really sold out to seeing how much potential income there was with China.
Yeah.
And they kind of sold out the American market. And the problem was then China had some regulations. People, their interest over there, their interest had changed to a different game. And now Daybreak was left with pretty much nothing in the end. They ended up having to fire a ton of their things. They pretty much have given their game to another development company now, all because they saw that short-term China money. I think that this, if the wrong company approaches it company approaches it in the wrong way, I think this could be almost the same situation. They could sell out their main fans that are diehard Diablo people for some quick bucks in a mobile game. They'll still, with here at least they can come back. They can release Diablo 4 on PC and people will be fine. But if a game is moving their main things over, that's where they hit an issue. And that's what I think what H1Z1 did is they didn't. It wasn't like a side thing. They said, okay, we'll sell this to China. They did the whole thing. They may find this where, okay, the mobile market doesn't work, and they totally back out of this and just go back to PC. Or maybe it goes gangbusters for a while. I mean, this is a gamble on their part. I'm not sure exactly, how to play out.
Yeah, it's a gamble. I guess we'll wait to see. All right.
So do you want to do a giveaway here really quick?
Yeah. What do we got?
All right. So exclamation point giveaway in chat. This will be a 60-point raffle. So if you've been watching the show for the last hour, you will have enough points for this. I'm going to be giving away a Sniper Elite, a copy of Sniper Elite V2. And this is a game that's very positive ratings on Steam. And this one's been out since 2012. It's a sniper action stealth World War II co-op game worth about $20 right now. So they're selling it for $20 on Steam. Exclamation point giveaway in chat, and we'll give that away here before the end of the show.
And hey, if you like,
Sniper is a fun series, by the way.
It is. And hey, if you like some of these longer form discussions that we have about this Diablo, which we spent about 40 or so minutes on, let us know, because this is the kind of stuff that we may do, after the fact, or record one of these every week that's separate from the show and do some different things with. So if you're enjoying some of this stuff, in this kind of conversation, let us know. It helps us. Or would you rather just have us do news for 2 hours? We can do that. I mean, we're trying to feel it out and see what people are really interested.
Suggestions of possible long form topics. If there's something that you would like to hear us discuss, then Green Man's he's demanding 2 hours of current players. That's what he wants.
Every game on Steam, every week. He'll just go through them all.
Right through the list.
Jesus. It would take like it'd take like 6 or 7 hours to prep, because I'd have to go to every SteamDB page and pull all the information.
It would make sense for us to try to create something to automatically fill that info. And then you just could hit. It'd be like a random button. Just hit next. Oh, this random game. That would be fun.
All right. So we got a lot of news to get into. Let's kind of rapid fire through some of this stuff here in the last hour. H1Z1 has got some news. They by the way, I never saw patch notes from last week's patch. We talked about it live on the show last Tuesday. They were doing an update, and I never saw official patch notes. I don't know if they didn't get published. Maybe they got hidden on another Twitter account. I looked for like half an hour on Twitter today. Couldn't find official patch notes. Found some things and whatnot that they worked on, but couldn't find like a list of notes. But nevertheless, season 2 of the new Z1 game is ending November 14th, which is next Wednesday. The off season. See, I like H1Z1. I don't old H1Z1. I don't ever remember them doing an off season. They just went from preseason to preseason, from what I remember. Yeah. So there's gonna be a preseason starting on the 14th, which is smart, and then the full season 3 will start. He just says soon, which people say, oh, soon TM. But see, this is the thing. H1Z1 did like 9 preseasons, because one would end and they just have to go right into another one, or people would be all pissed off. So with this, they're just doing an off season, and there'll be rewards and whatnot. It'll be like a season, but they don't have to waste a number. So they're not going to be at 14 preseasons before anything actually happens. So
Yeah.
you've got until next Wednesday to rank up and do whatever you're going to do in season 2, and then have your off season, and then season 3 will start probably sometime after the new year if I had to guess. That would probably can't imagine releasing it between. Well, actually, maybe it is a good idea to release it before Christmas. People are off work and whatnot, so who knows? But so we had that happen, and in other news from H1Z1, Brian, this one is right up your alley, and they are Z1 Battle Royale is hiring a community manager / content creator. Now, I recommended Brian apply. I applied with my resume of course, being a podcast host for 197 weeks. Started as the H1Z1 podcast. So there, if you're a community manager and you're interested in community managing things, go ahead and apply to be the community manager. Now, I will say, Brian, I tweeted at them and said, at Boise Computer would be a great community manager, and they liked it. Now, some would say, oh, they like every tweet. They've liked less than 1,000 tweets.
So they like that.
I mean, I'm not saying anything. I'm not talking about collusion. I'm not saying Brian is colluding against the podcast to become the new... Now, we did have the conversation that if I was to become the community manager, how would that change the tune of this show? And I said it wouldn't change it at all.
We wouldn't be able to be rude.
We're not rude.
We're not rude. We wouldn't be able to be...
You're damn right, I'd be honest.
Okay, so the thing is up to this point with Z1 Battle Royale, we have been very positive.
Yes, absolutely.
I always give them a chance. I gave H1Z1 more than a chance from the beginning. Like I tried to be positive as much as possible until, I mean, it's like the Titanic is sinking, and I'm positive until the point where the water's up to the deck. And then at that point, I'm like, all right, it's going down. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's what it kind of did with H1Z1 for me. With this, I'm giving them totally a chance to be able to go and remake this and make it a fun game, and make it the game that I don't have any expectations of this game. As long as it's fun, as long as there's not a ton of hackers on it, for whatever community and market of people that want to play this type of game, as long as it's just not hackers and just stupid stuff happening all the time. Yeah. Right about that point, I'm like, okay, when the last boiler, you can see the steam coming out from hitting the last engine that's in there. I'm like, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So, so I'm giving them all the chance to make this game into just make something that the community will enjoy playing. I'm not expecting it to be Just Survive. Whatever they do with Just Survive, I'm fine. Just make this a fun VR game that people will enjoy. And if they do that, then I won't talk bad about them. They've done nothing, in my view, to totally make the community distrust them like H1Z1 constantly did or Daybreak did.
Yeah. Brian, I'm getting bugged by this, so we're gonna try to do this in real time. I'm going to turn off your audio in our software here, and I'm going to call you on Skype because every other one of your words is getting just like cut away or so. Let's see. I'm going to turn Brian's audio off, and I'm going to stop sending audio to Brian. And let's see if I can't get reconnected with him over here so that we can actually hear what... oh, that sounds lovely. The Skype calling sound. Brian, are you with us still?
I am here.
Perfect.
How is this?
I think this is going to work out a lot better.
Okay.
Because that just isn't working out. All right. So we're talking about let's see. Brian, can you just talk to verify you're on with us still?
Yes, I am still here.
Perfect. Okay. So this is good. This is going to work out. I think this is going to work out better. Apologize for the audio issues. Nothing has changed in any of our setups, but some reason Brian's audio is just coming in and out, and I don't know if it's on my end or his. So we've got that.
If it doesn't do it on here, then we'll know it's on your end, right?
Well, or it's just
unless it's something in.
I think it's something in the platform that we're using. So so that's that. Available community manager position. Go ahead and apply. I applied. If I get it, boy, this show is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So
of course, then you'd have to move to the West Coast,
oof,
the slightly better coast than some of the other coasts.
the evil empire, out to the West Coast. So that's all of the that's all the H1Z1 news of the week. Let's so we got that. Where else can we go?
Let's do this one because this one is kind of interesting. We had talked a little bit about this, and Rust, they put out an update, and I've been trying to figure out with some of the recent changes where they're going. And so, if I don't know if you could play that video.
Okay.
I mean, so I think this is a longer video. I think it's one of the normal Shadowfrax videos. So, but I want to discuss one of the new things in this update after that.
And this is Rust, right?
Yes, Rust.
All right. Yeah, we got a quick update from our friend Shadowfrax. We'll do that, and then we'll be back to discuss.
Greetings, survivors and friends. I'm Shadowfrax, and this is your weekly Rust update. First up, if you've been paying attention, you should know a lot about the new hot air balloon already, but as of this week, it's finally landed. This is what we know. Just like the Rahibs and rowboats, a certain number of them will spawn on a server at any one time, depending on how big it is, and can be found flopping around randomly on the landscape. To make your newly found windbag rise heavenwards, simply pop some low grade in the tank and mash the big red button. I think I've spent enough time over the last few vids explaining how to fly these, so I won't bore you with it again, and for any of you who are still clueless, I won't spoil the fun of learning. But some other things to note are that they now have a small amount of storage. It takes about 4 low grade to inflate the balloon and about 15 per minute of ignition. They have 1500 health and can be repaired with cloth. These things floating around in the sky does of course mean that someone could potentially drop in on you now when you're least expecting it. Unless, of course, you have one of these. If hot air balloons are the disease, then SAM site turrets are the cure. And I showed you an early version of these in last week's update, but they're now fully functional. Purchased from the compound for 500 scrap each, you can stick them on foundations or floors, and they'll automatically target any balloons that come into range, including your own. They require a new type of SAM ammo, which can be bought again from the compound and will set you back 75 scrap for 6. This won't last you long, seeing as how it takes about 30 to knacker a balloon, but fortunately, they can also be researched and crafted at a tier 2 bench for 30 gunpowder and 1 pipe for 6. Oh, and for all of you who thought just flying to the top of the launch site would be as easy as saying, "This will only help clans," good luck getting past the 4 turrets that have now made it their home. If you can damage them enough, you can disable them for a while, but whether it's worth it or not, I'll let you decide. Over on the briny deep, the cargo ship has received an interior it can be proud of, and you can now venture down below deck, gaining entry via back and front entrances. Down here you'll find 2 large rooms filled with shipping containers, crates, loot boxes, and of course walking blue barrels. Speaking of which, the ship now has multiple loot rounds, with up to 3 sets of loot spawning in random places during the 50 minutes it hangs around on the server, each one consisting of 1 locked crate, 1 elite crate, 4 military crates, and 4 regular ones. There's also an alternative cargo ship layout now, which you may encounter instead, and this one has a slightly more open feel. This isn't even its final form though, and you can expect further enhancements down the line, including door controls and CCTV. Talking of final forms, as I mentioned last week, the rowboat now has a new model, and while being fairly closely based on the old one, it does now at least look and feel made for the game. Interestingly, a recent commit hinted at being able to skin it at some point, but it's no longer available, so you'll just have to believe me. A few other changes worth noting. Firstly, tactical gloves have had their aim sway reduction nerfed from 100% down to 80, as it was a bit OP. Pumpkins now only have 1 growing season and are no longer the gift that keeps on giving. This brings them in line with all other plant life, and hopefully this keeps the numbers down. Wetsuit rad protection has been reduced from 20 to 15 points, and this is to prevent an exploit that allowed you to craft an outfit which would be fully rad-proof. And the L96 has become a victim of both inflation and dodgy manufacturing, with the bandits now wanting 700 scrap for one, and its durability being less. Ouch. A few graphical enhancements now, and we're used to wind animation on grass and trees, but thanks to a new module, this is being extended to include other flappy surfaces, such as the hot air balloon and its windsock. It's now a breeze to apply wind effects to any material, such as clothes, for instance, so look out for more of this in the future. Over the last month, all of the tree imposters were optimized to reduce the amount of empty space around them, and thanks to these efforts, savings of about 30% over the originals could really help those with low and mid-range potato cards. Also, work is being done to enhance water with proper large-scale waves being added to the otherwise pretty calm surface we have now. Not only will it look more uppy-downy, but will also add to the physics, making sailing a bit more interesting. Plus, the plan is that conditions could change, depending on the weather. There are a number of optimizations which, to be frank, will probably bore you to death if I go into them here. They included parented entity movement and network interpolation improvements, plus a lot of work to improve asset bundles. If you're really interested, then I think I'll let you read the whole thrilling thing on the blog, if you don't mind. Metal support for Mac OS looks like it'll be coming to Rust soon, with certain disabled features such as occlusion culling and optimized imposter rendering coming back online. And thanks to recent advancements from Easy Anti-Cheat, the team are now able to manually issue temporary game bans to players who refuse to play fair, either by cheating or repeatedly playing with cheaters. Previously, this only applied to individual servers, but can now be extended across all of them for up to a year. So, yeah. And lastly, there are a couple of other things in the pipeline that I don't have imagery for, sadly, but hope to soon. These include a jumpsuit, which I assume will be for the skydiving feature that was touted a while back, and an oil rig, which I think it's easy to work out will be a new sea-based monument. It's at a very early stage at the moment, but I'm pumped to know more. I think it's just what the platform needs, and I will of course be drilling for more info, so stay tuned, and I'll keep you in the loop. Thanks for watching. Please like, sub, and leave me your thoughts in the form of a comment down below. Come and check me out in all the other places, including Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and my Steam group. Shall of course catch you all soon, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.
All right. I want to thank our friend ShadowFrax again for another in-depth update. Plenty of jokes. You know, he's going to be drilling for more information. Yada, yada. I got it. We got it.
Next the one-liners.
We got it. All right. So we thank him for that. So yeah, the balloon is in there, which is cool. I
mean, what do you think that's going to do to trolling on the servers? I mean,
I don't know.
You know that they're going to have it to where you can start dropping bombs and stuff,
but you can't steer it. That's the thing. There's no like press A and D to maneuver. You've got to
you just go up and down.
Well, yes, but there is the wind moves in patterns in which you know to turn off the air at one point. It'll drift you a certain way. It's not like you're flying a plane where you're going to be able to navigate. Really, I think it's a much more complex system. So I feel like a lot of people are just going to go up there and get shot down. If I had to guess, as you know on this show, we're experts in Rust.
In Rust. Dying in Rust.
Yeah, and we're experts in playing Rust and getting killed by a group of naked people. I would say this is probably just going to end in people just getting shot down. If I had to guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, and I thought it was interesting is your own SAM turrets will shoot down your own balloon.
Isn't that correct?
So it doesn't actually care
nope.
which balloon it is. So you can't even fly it near your base because you'll shoot it down.
You got to disable your SAM turrets and then take it up and then pop it down.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. Speaking of balloons.
Oh, look at the segue.
Yes. I don't know if you want to play this video really quick. I mean, there's just some music with it, but this is another game that's adding balloons.
If I wonder if people had to guess, like, what game could they be talking about? Game with balloon. What game do we know that adds crazy things to their game? It's Fortnite, and they've got a balloon update. Game is so stupid. I mean, it's ridiculous the kind of crap they add to it. And guess what?
The thing is, they don't have any limits.
And guess what? Everybody's going to love it. Everybody that plays Fortnite is going to love the fact that balloons are in the game. I don't know.
Yeah.
They can do no wrong with their player base. They've gained so much trust. They have done their player base so good that they can do anything and it doesn't matter. They have proven themselves so many times to their player base. Now Nisco's saying next you'll hear kids jumping from their roofs with 3 balloons and dying. Yeah, I mean, hey, you did it in Fortnite. I mean, little Timmy wanted to jump from the top of his 12-story apartment complex in balloons, and it just didn't work out for him.
Well, and that is a problem. Like every dance I see now, whenever I see someone dancing, it's now a Fortnite dance.
Oh, dude,
Especially kids.
I can only imagine what like a middle school dance looks like now. It's got to be all the Fortnite. I mean,
was it the floss? Isn't that one of them? Like,
I'm not sure. I'm not. The dance
floss
scene
is like the one where the hands go in front and then back.
Can you do it? Can you stand up and do it?
I am not going to stand up and do the floss.
It's worth the
thing
try.
is, even people that don't play games, they know that that's the floss. Like, I was at a place and like this kid was doing the floss, and this guy who doesn't play games like this, he's like, "Oh yeah, doing the floss." I'm like, "How do you even know what this dance is?"
Brian, we've gotten a donation to do the floss.
Yes.
Now you have no.
I am not doing the floss. I am not doing the floss. I did a yeehaw last week. That was enough. I am not doing the floss. You can do the floss.
I don't even know what it is. What are you talking about?
Yeah, right. You know exactly.
I
am not standing up and doing the floss.
I don't play Fortnite.
This is the internet, and it will never go away. I understand this.
I'd pay so much money to watch that go down.
I'm not doing the floss.
but you are absolutely correct, and we've talked about this in the past. We got a lot of news to get into. Now we got another cheer, Brian. Do the floss. I mean, our episode 200 is next week. Would you do the floss for the 200th episode?
I'll have to think about it, but probably not.
Yes, he's thinking about it, folks. This is good. What was I going to say? Oh, I don't want to get into this. We've talked about it before. But Fortnite has become a cultural thing. It is becoming a thing that, like Minecraft, which was a cultural thing when I was going through middle school. It was just a thing. Everybody knew. Even my parents knew through me talking about it with my friends when I'd have friends over what Minecraft was. It was just a thing. Fortnite is that thing. Fortnite, I can only parallel it in its culturalness to Minecraft, because that's what I remember. That was my thing. My generation's cultural thing was in gaming. It was Minecraft. That was the big thing, and Fortnite is the one now. And now they've got balloons. So if you're looking for something to do, go jump off your roof with balloons.
Because they can cycle the content so rapidly, like they change their map up, they change drastic things about the game. If this doesn't work, like if it's not something that works out well, they'll be like, okay, something happened and the balloons don't work anymore. Like, or they'll just take them out. People don't get super stuck on one thing. And this is one of the first communities I've seen where people are okay with drastic changes on a regular basis. Usually people get really mad when something changes. I haven't seen that yet with Fortnite.
I think it's because the changes happen so rapidly, and it's a constant revolving door. It's like one of those.
People know that it's going to happen.
It's like one of those hotel doors, which we used a lot at PAX. You know, you just go around in a circle. Yeah. Maybe you trap Brian every single time you go in one because he keeps going behind you like an idiot.
I go in, it's like it stops. Like you'll stop it, and the wind locks. Like the air pressure locks it, and then like you get a line of people behind you wanting to go through.
Hey, I mean, I didn't trap Brian in there a couple times. It's fine.
Yeah.
But it is. It's the revolving door. It's just new update. People don't get attached because there's always every week we're showing a shiny new object, a shiny new X that's in the game, Y that's in the game. So people don't get latched onto things, and I mean.
I think it plays out in their favor. Plus, they can just put so many things. I think the main reason they do it is because there's nothing we can't do with skins. I mean, you saw that video. All the
clowns,
nothing matched together. Everything was totally random,
mishmash.
But the thing is they've been in a theme. Like it's been something in the game that has something to do with it at some point. But that's just everything doesn't seem like it matches together. But that's because they've had so many different cycles of story or whatever happening in the game. Where they had that one where all these different time periods, somehow showed up on the map through portals. So that then they got 5 different types of skin things they could do. I mean, it's really smart on their part because their hands are not tied in any way.
There you go.
Which it's good for them and money, which they've been doing really.
They've been doing very well. Another BR game is a game that we talked about a lot. It's called Realm Royale, and I frankly haven't played it in a while, but they did have a pretty big update here. This is their 13th patch, their 13th patch note for early access. A couple of general things that they released here is they've got servers are now available for Brazil, Asia/Pacific Rim region, and Australia. So those 3 regions now have servers available for those. They did an update to improve the quality of the matchmaking experience. They removed timed queues. And this one's a little bit, I don't know if you want to call it controversial, but it says to address players concerned about waiting too long for a game, aka not enough active players, we've introduced a temporary system that will fill matches with AI opponents if certain conditions are met.
Yeah.
This is an interesting way to get around, and they've got a decent player base. So this is odd. Well, I'll have the numbers for this coming up here in a little while. But what are your thoughts on this, Brian? I mean, is this something that maybe a game like H1Z1 should also look at? A game that sometimes struggles?
One thing, you look at PUBG Mobile. This is what they did.
Yes, they
First
did.
of all, they did it so that the games would feel like the client, the PC client, as far as having a lot of people in there, but they knew they couldn't get away performance-wise with having 100 players in a mobile game.
Yeah.
So they put in a bunch of AI, and you know what? Most people thought that it was people. They didn't realize that they were actually playing against AI, and they were like, "Oh, look at all these kills I got!" And almost everybody that played it was so proud about how many kills they got in PUBG. I think with this,
yeah,
as long as it's something that is competitive enough, right? So it's not like, oh, these are just super dumb AI that I'm playing against, which is a little bit more tough when you're not purely relying on shooting. I mean, there's melee and all these other things that happen. I think it's going to be a little bit harder for them to get an AI opponent, but I think people, rather than having a game that takes a long time to fill or starts with less players, I think they would be just fine with having some AI filled in there, so where it's still happening. Yeah, Firebomb's pointing out that he had 18 kills, and then I ruined it when I said I told him how many bots were in that game.
I had a whole bunch of kills. I had like 6 or 7. I was like, this is the best game of PUBG I've ever had. I was like, oh wait, none of them were actual players.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of an interesting concept. It is an agreement says DOA. It's
PUBG or H1Z1 I think does need to do this though. But I don't know that they necessarily have AI technology really put in there. I mean, zombies is very different than trying to make a realistic shooting AI.
But see, that's the thing here. Is it better to let your game die? Or, I mean, of course the answer is going to be no from the developer. We don't want our game to die, but are you better? This seems like you putting duct tape over a leaking pipe, right?
Yeah.
If anybody's ever dealt with a high pressure pipe leak, nothing you put over it, not even Flex Seal, will stop. I don't care what stupid infomercial you watch. You cannot stop high pressure water. If a water line bursts and it's high pressure, nothing is going to stop it. This is exactly what this feels like.
Yeah.
This feels like they're putting duct tape over a leaking pipe and saying, oh, well, there's actually a lot of people playing. No. All this is going to do, I think, is dwindle your player base even more. Because now, I mean, frankly, I don't want to play against freaking bots.
Yeah.
I'd rather get my ass kicked.
They have to have it to where it's
online.
a high enough. They have to have it a high enough where the first initial set of people you maybe come against are cannon fodder, right? And then later, as you go through the game, all those bots are kind of gone, and then you're playing against real people. Because the most important part is that towards the end of the game, you don't end up being you versus a bot. Like, you don't want that to be the end where a bot ends up getting first place. And I'm sure that they would not allow that to happen, but you don't want it to be where all the regular human players die, and at the end it's just you versus bots. Like, that would not be fulfilling.
Now, our friend Miles Park is saying if H1 had bots, the game would be so much better for new players. Now, that's an interesting comment because
if they created tiers, right? If they created beginners, like based on the rankings, actually separated the players out to where you weren't playing against the platinum and diamond tier players. And then if there weren't enough players in your tier, as a beginner person, fill it in with bots so that you can at least get some experience without having people two-tap you constantly throughout the game. That's the difficult part for a new player in H1, is you have the players that are taking 10 shots minimum per person to try to kill them. And then you have the people that just turn into a two-tap while they're jumping through the air or falling through a window, falling from the top of a building, two-tapping you. That is a big change. And so I think that's part of the issue is a new player it's like a new player going into CSGO. You're sitting there getting killed. And if you have the patience to go long enough, maybe you'll get okay at it, but you're just getting killed over and over and over and over again. And that's tough for a lot of players.
Yeah, absolutely. So Realm Royale making an interesting change there, adding bots if there's certain conditions are met, which is probably going to be a couple minutes sitting in a lobby below a certain player count, and whatever conditions they decide. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction is, and I'll have a player report here in just about 20 minutes or so from them. Let's talk about an actual survival game, Brian, since we haven't really done a whole lot of that today. SCUM has got an update. Now, this is a very interesting update, and frankly, I had to double take this, and the most recent SCUM update has got this. This might be a game-changing element here, ladies and gentlemen. This may be something that a lot of other game developers need to look at. The most recent update adds the ability for you to customize your character's penis. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard me correctly.
So here's the interesting part. So you actually spend points that could go into other attributes to determine this. So for Pride, you're either willing to have a weaker player because you want to be endowed, right?
You've put all of your credit into manhood instead of like strength or something useful in the survival game. Now hold on, but now I need to ask: is reproduction part of the survival element in SCUM?
No, because they're all males, so I don't think.
It's 2018, Brian. You need to.
You get with the times. Okay, but here's the thing that really caught me. Okay, so here's the thing I saw that I thought was really interesting.
Oh yeah, tell me.
If you own the SCUM supporters pack, so if you purchase that, you get an extra 2 inches.
No way, you're so full of shit.
I am 100% serious. So by default, I think it's 4 inches is the default, which is not average, right? So if you pay for the extra pack, you get to average, right? But if not, you're shorter, and you can put it down to 1 inch. That's the shortest. So that way you can put it to 1 inch, and then you can spend your points in other areas, and be a little bit stronger of a character. Or let's see, it said on here the maximum length. 8 inches.
Firebomb luckily bought the supporter pack, so he can compensate. He'll be good to go. You know what? For all of the crazy customization in this game, I'm gonna give them a thumbs up on this update. This is quality. I like this. This is a quality. This game has got this. First of all, nobody's really playing this game, frankly.
It was very creative, though.
It is very creative.
That concept.
I mean, it's not creative at all. It's just.
I mean, it's something that somebody's gonna. That so many guys are gonna give up stats just to do this because they don't want.
Is there a maximum length?
8.
I mean,
so from 1 to 8.
Well, I mean,
do you really want that extra 7 points?
I don't know. That's for you, the player, to decide. I was gonna say tweet us pictures, but then I realized that I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. So don't do that. Let us know if this is something that interests you or not. Good for them. I mean, clearly they don't care.
I mean, they're just doing whatever. I mean, this is this is Devolver Digital, right? So They've always been kind of
it's not Devolver. Devolver Digital is the publisher. They aren't the
publisher.
developer.
Okay, but yeah, but I'm saying that they've always kind of pushed stuff in a unique way, anyways.
Yeah,
as far as their marketing. So this is for them is probably a thing. You guys should try this.
Yeah. Now with this update, there's also a Wild Hunter update where they've added some bows and arrows, some primal crafting,
some unique helmets?
Yeah,
headgear.
Let me scroll through some of this stuff. There's a lot of cool. These models look really good. They look really well done. The quality on them looks pretty good. And then of course,
what I like is
they call it "Let It Hang."
If you go up a little bit, see the necklaces there?
Yeah.
So it's a tooth necklace, and then they have, I think it's an earlobe necklace.
Ooh,
so
pretty badass.
Yeah, so you can get those, and it'll have people's ears on it or their teeth on a necklace. Musical instruments, which was one of my big complaints of Red Dead, is you can't pick up the instruments and play them.
And you can actually play the notes. Look at this.
And this one you can. You can play music.
I mean,
which is what they should have done with Red Dead.
Yeah, there you go.
And they actually have a thing you could hear it if you want to. I don't know if you want to hear it in action.
Let's see. Oh, it's a YouTube video. Ah, jeez.
You
trolled me, you son of a bitch. You let me fall. You let me fall right for it, Brian. Did you know that you you jackass?
Sorry.
Oh man. I've got it. It was all those revolving doors at PAX.
Yeah.
It finally got me.
Thanks for the doors.
Detective Brian strikes again. You really got me with that one, you son of a bitch. You really got me. Plus a whole bunch of they're doing really extensive updates, but this game I think may be a game that had so much built up hype beforehand that took such a nosedive on launch. Not because the game was bad. I purchased it. I know you played it for a little bit longer than I did. But boy, did I have for some reason, I have no interest in going back and playing it. And that's not just me. I mean, literally the numbers in this game are atrocious for a game that is so new.
Yeah, and I think the big issue is there's not with the thing that got us with Ark, the taming of dinosaurs and the building of bases. Like you get in there, you're working on your base, you're gathering things for your base to get that next thing that you're going to make, or we're working so that we can tame that next big dinosaur. There was that constant pull for the next thing. What in this game has that? It's like Arma, as far as you run around and you just shoot stuff and you do that. Well, most people, that's not what they want to do. That doesn't interest them in a long period of time. They have to create it to where there's something that's going to bring the character in and make it to where, oh, I got to log in because I need to continue doing this. There's nothing in this game currently that I can think of that does that.
The game is 2 months old, and its 7-day peak at any given time is like 6,000. That's not good. That's just not good because of all of its hype. Now, because people would say, oh, well, you say Conan's got a good player base. Conan has been out, and their last patch was months ago. But they've been able to maintain this game. I don't know what it was about this game, but there was so much hype beforehand about it. I mean, there was a lot of hype that this was going to be kind of this could be an equivalent to something like an H1Z1 that a lot of people wanted. This was going to be a more polished DayZ-ish game.
Which, I mean, it kind of is. The thing is, they need to just have more stuff, and they're adding stuff, but they need to get to where either there's base building or there's something that you can do that carries over from the previous time, like something that will get people logging in. And it's not really a game that requires help. Like those other games, you work together to do things. This game isn't necessarily so much working together, which I think kind of hurts it. Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I don't. It is incredibly tough. We've learned this from our experience. We have learned that the first impression that is made on any of these games is so hard to overcome.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do. There are a select few games, Conan Exiles being one of them, that has been able to overcome or was able to overcome that. They were able to do it.
Yep.
They released a huge content patch and people flocked back, and they've held a decent amount of that player base still. Not many games are capable of doing it. SCUM needs to do something similar, but the excitement level, I have not heard anybody talk about SCUM since it came out.
No.
I just haven't had anybody talk about it.
What change have they done that's extra content? I mean,
but here's the thing: the game's
now.
But the game's been out 2 months. It shouldn't need it. It shouldn't. It can't already. This is. I mean, I'm so thankful I'm not in video game development right now, because how is it that you release a brand new game and in less than 2 months
runs well?
Right? The game was pretty polished from what I remembered. Yeah, but 2 months into it,
the character mechanics, as far as all that stuff, works perfectly.
But 2 months into it, nobody cares. It might.
And the world's beautiful. Yeah, that's the thing is, people
dead game.
And I think it's because we've talked about this. There's so many titles. There's tons of AAA titles. There's so many titles from major studios coming out competing for your player base. It's really tough to release a game right now. Man, as a small studio.
Just any studio. I mean, it really is bizarre to kind of reflect on the past 200 episodes of this show. And if we were to go back and look at all of the games that we talked about and just see where they are now, I mean, it's crazy how quickly these games are prominent.
They come and go.
Well, and it's just like it's everything. For 2 weeks before SCUM, it was, oh man, SCUM, and then it came out and it's poof, gone, like non-existent. Might as well have not even released it.
It wasn't a bad game.
No, not at all.
It just didn't have something to keep people coming back.
Crazy. Really crazy.
So, yeah, and that's sad for them. Like, it's a great game if they can continue developing for it and get it to where it has content. Like, it's one of the better. It'd almost be better for them just to, like, I keep talking about, we need a game that has a lot of modability, like something that's a good platform for a game.
Gary's mod.
Yeah, this is the perfect type of. SCUM is a good game for that. The world is beautiful. They have a lot of stuff for levels, and like the world is beautiful. The character, like, moving around and interacting with the world, is really good. If they could just heavily make it moddable, like Arma did, this would be a much better alternative to Arma.
I agree.
Maybe they'll find that that's a good way of not throwing away all their work, is just give everybody the platform to then add things to it. Because they've got a lot of really talented people on the team. It's just they need something that keeps people opening the client.
Totally, that's a real problem right now in this industry. Speaking of another game that has got a similar problem, and they're trying to overcome that, is Miscreated. And
Yes.
We've got a Twitter image here, Brian. What are we looking at here?
So I assume what they're pointing out here is they said players will need to find and use these in release 1.0, which will be coming out here soon. And this is a water pump.
Yeah.
So this will be a place that you can go and refill your water. It's a hand pump. Nice. This is a little red well type of a pump.
Now,
and it's a way to refill.
Now, previously, there's always been water in the game. You would just have to find there's a river that runs through like the middle of the map, and you could just go down there and
you could fill it there.
Fill up.
But this will be kind of spread out around. Now, one thing, look at this image again.
Mm-hmm.
What do you notice in the background that's a little bit different? I don't recall seeing this before.
The blue barrels?
No.
The power lines?
Mm-hmm. But see that
the moss
see
on
the vines growing up.
Yeah.
The vines growing up them. Do you remember seeing that ever before?
I don't. And even if you look at that roof, it's covered in moss. The roof of the house.
It seems like that. So this is from their new 1.0. So there are some changes there.
There's apples on that tree.
Notice.
You notice that? I didn't notice that.
Oh, so I'm wondering if you can pick apples from the tree now.
Oh boy, that's a stretch. Frankly, here's the thing about foliage in games. If it's done well, you don't even notice it. You only notice when the foliage is bad, and it's always the environment in Miscreated has always been top notch. So frankly, I don't even know if there is or has been trees with fruits or
I don't remember
vines,
it, but maybe we're just noticing it now.
Yeah,
but I don't remember. I do not remember the vines and things growing up a power line like that. Maybe they were, but I never noticed that, and it'd be kind of weird because I've run around and looked, and I figured I'd notice that sort of thing.
Yeah, I've not noticed that.
So
we're still waiting on 1.0.
Those are the main things. Yeah, and I don't think they haven't given a concrete date. I thought they said before the end of the year, if I remember correctly.
Could be. Been a lot of stuff.
But I mean, we've had so many release dates here recently. I was looking to see if they talked about it, but I would think that it would probably be before the end of the year. I bet is their goal.
I would hope so too. And again, they're trying to do excuse me, they're trying to do a Conan. They're trying to release a big enough content patch that people come back. Not only come back, but come back and stay.
But that's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take if it's going to work.
But they need to stay, Brian. That's the key with this. Yeah. They can release any kind of blingy update, and it's fine and dandy, and people play for 2.5 weeks or hell, even a week. But if they don't stay, if there's not a hook, if it doesn't hook you, I hate to say it's lost, but it's lost. I mean, if your player base spikes for 2 weeks and then you've gained maybe 150 new concurrent players, boy, that's a lot of time and effort and a lot of money invested into, a couple hundred players. Got to be able to hook them. And I don't know what the hook is. It's different for every game. Conan hooked them. I don't know what they did to hook them, and Miscreated could hook them. Miscreated is a really, really good game. There's just a couple of huge issues, and it appears that they're going to be resolving those. So, I mean, maybe hell, we could find our group totally hooked to this game.
Yeah, because especially if they fix whatever their solution is for base building, something so that we can come back and continue playing and not start over every single day. Yep. That was, I mean, we tried, we gave it a chance.
We gave multiple times too.
And the thing is we couldn't, and plus they'll be releasing private servers. So if we want to just go and play around and experience the world and just see for what we could do, like we kind of do with Ark, we'll spend a couple weeks playing it, see if we can get some other people playing it, randoms come in, if that works. If it works, if we find it not interesting, we can spin the server down and do something else.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we got probably 5 or so more minutes to cover a couple of things before our show stuff. What do you want to get into?
There's one thing I want to discuss here.
Yeah, let's finish with this.
So this is related to Unreal, but they have released pretty much the plugin that you would need to be able to have SpatialOS integration with Unreal Engine.
Ooh. Now, real quick.
Yes.
So I know we've got some new people. What is SpatialOS? And why is this? Why is this? What is this? Just another engine? Why should anybody care that SpatialOS is going to have some tight-knit integration with Unreal? Which is, I'm trying to think. What are the big games on Unreal? Like our big survival games. Ark.
Ark is on Unreal. Fortnite is Unreal.
What are the others? Miscreated is not Unreal. That's
Miscreated is Unity. CryEngine. Sorry. Yep. And same thing with new Mavericks.
Conan is on.
Conan is on Unreal. I mean, some big titles are on Unreal.
Yeah.
I think. The game we just talked about, SCUM.
SCUM is Unreal. Yes.
Is based on Unreal. Yeah. There's a lot of titles on Unreal. So what SpatialOS does is it allows communication pretty much on the back end. Mostly with Unreal Engine servers. You have one executable that's running on the server, so you can only have one thing running that's managing the whole server. That's kind of a bottleneck. That's where you run into, also PUBG. We didn't even mention PUBG.
Oh yeah, of course.
So you have the issues they have with PUBG and even Fortnite is trying to make it so they can handle the 100 whatever players at once
on one set of resources, because you're still
on one set of resources on one server.
Yes.
So what they're able to do with SpatialOS is to kind of spread out the load, kind of like as if you were to have a cloud, what they call cloud computing with the server network.
Yeah.
You're allowed to have it to where there's certain parts are being managed for maybe character movement, maybe the spawns in ammo and materials and random things into the world, the loot is happening on another instance. You can have AI running on another instance. It makes it so that they're able to spread all this out across, the cloud, right? The equivalent, and make it so that you don't then, whatever it is, one piece of your system is not getting loaded down and slowing down everything else, because that's what you run into with H1Z1 or with PUBG. when they're initially starting the game, that the reason that they have their cap at a certain thing, or they're not doing replication, which is where they're saying to the server, hey, this is what I'm doing. Am I allowed to do this? So you can see people flying in the air and doing all these things they're not supposed to do in games, is because they're not checking. This would allow them to do more checks, to check everything, to prevent cheaters, and to be able to spawn things in and to do all these extra things without loading down the server. So you'd be able to have a lot more players. I mean,
so you talked about
done well, you could have like 1,000 players on a server.
So you're talking more maybe like a more planet side thing where you've got hundreds of players all in a single, essentially a single zone. Yeah, duking it out. Where you're traditionally you have your bottleneck. It seems like it's about 100 players. PUBG is about 100 players. Fortnite's about 100 players. That seems to be the max that you can get to with still maintaining a decent. We talked about this 2 weeks ago with Battle Nonsense, a good server frame rate, essentially the tick rate of the server, being able to get consistent updates.
They have to slow down the tick rate of the server because it can't keep up, so they slow the whole thing down to whatever they can manage. That's why they were running it at 20 hertz.
Ticks. Yeah.
Or ticks, yeah. Now, so what they'll do is, like, your client will connect to pretty much a cloud of servers, a whole bunch of servers.
Cluster.
A cluster of servers. And then that is connecting to the world. So a huge map. And then they'll have multiple instances or multiple engines. So it'd be the equivalent of running multiple game servers that are then hosting that world. So, and this makes them all communicate together. So it'd be like running, I mean, you see it in WoW, you see it in big MMORPGs, to where you're seamlessly going across a huge map. Or, I'm sure they'll do something like this with Red Dead Redemption Online. If they're going to have a bunch of players, depending on how many players they have. But if they're going to have a lot of players with such a giant world like that, you have to spread the load out across multiple clients or multiple game clients, server clients. And so that's a lot of what this does.
Cool. So we could potentially see a very large open world game being multiplayer.
Even these existing ones. I mean, this would be a perfect solution for something like PUBG, where they struggle sometimes with frame rates, or they want to experiment with having many more players on one server. They could implement this and even do some tests of it.
What I think would be kind of cool is in a Fortnite's got this 50v50 mode where it's 50v50. You could potentially in the future see
50 versus 50 versus 50 versus 50 if you
hell,
wanted
200 versus 200 or whatever your number may be. You have these massive, and if you said 50 versus 50 versus 50, you're pretty much talking about planet side at that point. But you could have these massive games now, and you're 500 versus 1,000 active concurrent players, and Fortnite sure as hell's got the player base to support that. You have 1,000.
I think the thing
players.
is CryEngine, I think, put it out first, and so you were seeing in probably Unity. I think that's why you were seeing like Mavericks and things like that coming out and saying that they're using it. So now the tools are out to be able to do it on Unreal, which is a very popular for the type of games that we play. It's a very popular engine. So I'm thinking that we'll start to see very quickly games being announced, at least, that they're going to be using this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it.
Yep. All right. So one thing is Destiny 2. If you want Destiny 2, it is free right now, and I think it's for a limited time through the 18th.
It's not free. It's not one of these redeem free now, keep forever. It's free for a period of time.
No, it's free. You get the base game.
Oh, for forever.
Yes.
Oh,
so just go claim it at least.
I will go claim it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's free now. Okay. I want to explain really quick because we were having this conversation on Discord. What Destiny 2 is as far as this piece.
In the wrong chat.
Yeah, we were doing it in a different chat. So Destiny 2, the base game, is a certain amount of content. Then there is Forsaken, and there's a Destiny 2. There's like 3 DLCs that you'll run into. So you may say, oh, this is great, but this is not the full game. You'll play up to a certain point, and then you won't be able to do the new content. Just to prepare you, if you're going to get really into this game, the one that comes with the season pass and all the DLCs is $99.99. Okay.
Gotcha.
So if you're thinking, oh, I'm getting this free and I'm going to be able to play with my friends who've been playing this a long time, you will hit the content cap of what's available to get. And that if you're going to go beyond that, you will have to pay the $99.99.
Are you telling me they're giving you the first little bit for free so that you buy the $100 game? Is that what you're telling me? Oh my God. Feel like I've been conned.
Yeah. So
WoW do literally the exact same thing?
Yeah, you get up to level 20. I mean, it's kind of the equivalent of that. You can get up to a certain level in WoW, and then you have to pay to be able to get higher. And so this is very much what they're doing. They keep giving it away. So they gave it away on PS4, for a period of time on the PlayStation Plus package. And now they're giving it away for a period of time on PC. The thing is they should just say Destiny 2 is free to play up to this, and then, for the base game. And then, because if you play it for any period of time, you're going to hit that ceiling pretty quickly within the first week or two. And then you're either going to buy it or you're going to stop playing.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's a good marketing. I own it on PS4, and it's a fun game.
It's just not for everybody.
But they were trying to get me to play it on PC here. I'm like, no way. I'm not going to pay $100.
No way.
Play it on PC too, and I already played on PS4. So
you have to be into that kind of game. It's a grinding play style. That's kind of what that's what Destiny is. It's not a WoW equivalent, because it's a lot of similar concepts to what keeps players hooked to WoW. It's got a lot of those elements, daily quests.
Well, the thing is the loot. The thing about this thing is the loot, because part of it's random generation, and you're always getting a little bit higher level. 600 gear is pretty much the top level gear. 600. Once you get to like 500 and whatever, the beginning of 500s, you get to where it's a grind at that point. Like you're having to start doing raids, just like WoW. You start doing raids. It's like an MMO. It's a shooter MMO pretty much, but you have to start getting the levels up, and it gets much more difficult. And they're still releasing content for Forsaken, so it's like a new area that they're releasing stuff over time. So it's a good game to play, but you have to be prepared. I just want people to be prepared that for you to get everything and the season pass is $100.
Yes, don't fall for it.
So just understand that. All right. Some games are going to be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. Overkill's The Walking Dead on November 6th, so that is tomorrow. Fallout 76 will be coming out on the 14th.
Yep.
So that's in 9 days. Red Dead Redemption 2, we're still waiting to see. I've seen hints that maybe on the 9th, but it will be in November that they'll be releasing that initial one. I think they said that it'll only be coming to, PS4. They have it on Xbox and PS4, correct? The versions that you can get. But I think the PS4 is getting this early access online first, if I remember correctly, because I thought it said first to PS4 or PlayStation. So if you have an Xbox version, I don't know that you'll be able to get the Red Dead Redemption online in November.
Mm-hmm.
I think you may have to wait for full release. So, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it'll come out by the 9th. I've already beat the game. So I beat it within a week. I beat it Thursday morning, I think.
There you go.
And it came out Thursday night. So, the week before.
Yes.
But it is an excellent game. And I've been telling Nick, I said, I wish I could tell you things, but the thing is he's playing it and there's really great things about it, but I can't tell anybody because no one else has beat the game. I can't talk about it. So
Soon enough,
kind of frustrating.
Soon enough.
Just beat the game already. Come on.
Yeah. I don't have anything. I don't have anything else going on, Brian. I just,
yeah, I understand.
Everything. So I'll just quit my job and play Red Dead all day. I'll put out, maybe, hey, community manager for Daybreak. I can just post on Twitter and play Red Dead all day, right? Oops.
Might as well.
Sorry. It's probably not going to help my job chances. All right. I think that's all. There's some stuff we didn't get into. And we'll talk about the Red Dead stuff next week. And if we find anything out more about that, we'll talk about that next week.
One thing I want to mention quickly is Rainbow Siege they're making some changes in their game for China. So what they're doing is making a single global version, and they're pretty much taking out like the knife for the melee icon. They're making it a fist because China doesn't want weapons in a shooter game. I don't understand. They're taking out the skulls for the death icon and making it so there's just an X on the chest of a player. There was a graffiti in there that showed a skull on it. They're making that to where it's like a masked face. They're taking out the slot machines in.
Oh, no.
The gambling is taken out totally. There was a thing that showed some blood splattered up on the wall on one like wall covering. They're taking that off. And then there was a like some kind of sexualized content where like a neon light version of a stripper was on a pole.
Boy, the full China effect on this one.
Yeah, and now it is a finger pointing. It's neon.
That's so fun.
These are all things that they're doing to future proof their game, they said. And once again, this comes down to China sells a lot of copies of games. All these companies want China, and so they're willing to bend over backwards for China. And we keep seeing it over and over again.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to mention that since it was something that we have kind of discussed over time.
Yes. All right. Well, on that note, let's if that's all right, let's do a little transition here to current players. Let's talk about who's playing games and how many people. By the way, 13 people playing Just Survive right now. Don't know how that's possible. Must have the launcher open, I guess. I don't know. Currently playing, though, King of the Kill. Rough week for them. Numbers aren't looking too hot. 1,009 currently playing. The 24-hour peak, 2,610, with the 70 peak of 4,552. Moving on over to Ark Survival Evolved. Currently playing 23,965. The 24-hour peak, 37,416. And the 70 peak, 51,247. And Realm Royale. It's a game where they're going to be adding AI if you can't fill lobby. Well, I guess I can probably see why. Currently playing 1,425. The 24-hour peak, 2,882, with a 70 peak of 3,944. And finally, SCUM, because we talked about this a little bit earlier. Currently playing SCUM right now, 2,346 players. The 24-hour peak, 4,596 players. And the 70 peak, 6,320. And that is current players. That's a couple of games that we talk about and who is playing them. The Realm Royale numbers are a lot rougher than I thought they were going to be. I hadn't looked at them in a while. They're
making a lot of changes right now. I think trying to find what the community wants, which we've seen before. A lot of times the community doesn't know what they want, and I'm worried that they are following the gripings of Reddit and things like that.
Yes, which will kill you.
Which they made very drastic changes in the beginning of this game. You know, what we talked about it at PAX, of making certain changes to kind of counter this. I just don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, honestly, they're trying to get that balance. If they can get that balance, but there's just so much competition in this world for this type of game.
But I don't know if it matters at this point because again, it's not like you can make the game fix it all now. How do you get them back? You can't just over a 6-month period do tiny little. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. You can't do tiny little tweaks for 6 months and go, oh, game is good now.
It's better. It could be good, but how do you get people to realize that?
Exactly, and that's the thing. You need something big. You need something to draw them in so they go, oh, this is great.
Yep. So that'll be the question. I just don't know what exactly they're going to do at this point. I know that they want it to work. The graphics are great. The gameplay is smooth. Like we had no problems playing that game.
No, from day one, it was. I think day one it was the most polished BR I'd played on day one, and I still stand by that. It was.
Yep.
It was incredibly polished. They were just at the Facebook gaming booth at PAX West not that long ago, 2 months ago. So. It's a shame to see the numbers so low. Hopefully they can do something. But again, you're talking about, the chicken mechanic is unique and whatnot, but clearly it just wasn't enough to hold players over. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and we still have some skins and things we need to give away.
We do.
For H1Z1 and for Realm Royale. So we'll have to figure out how we want to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe on Twitter, or we'll see. Because we eventually need to get them out while these games will still exist.
We'll get them out. Have no fear.
All right. Yeah, so are we ready to move on to Tip of the Week?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tip of the Week is where we go through and either give a general gaming tip or one for a specific game. And since Destiny 2 is free to play at this moment, I'll be talking about Destiny 2. So this is Tip of the Week. All right, so in Destiny 2, there are 3 different types of weapons that you'll run across. They have kinetic, energy, and power weapons. Your kinetic weapon is your primary weapon that you'll be using, and it deals with what they call impact damage. Then you'll have your energy weapon, and they kind of consider this an alternate weapon. Even though you may find you can use whichever one you think is better, you may happen to have a better energy weapon than you do than like your kinetic weapons. So you may find yourself using that weapon more, but it deals elemental damage. And then they have a power weapon, which is kind of a specialized weapon. It has like rocket launchers, grenade launchers, fusion rifles, sniper rifles, shotguns, things like that. You'll find it's one where you have limited ammo, only a couple of shots on it, but it'll do a lot of damage. And you have to hold down a special key to be able to open that up, that weapon up. And for instance, on my character, I have this honing rocket launcher, so it actually will track the target, and it works really well in PvP because as long as I'm able to find that ammo and I point it roughly at the area where someone is, it will kill them. But on here, you need to be conscious also what type of ammo that particular weapon takes. So if you end up equipping a couple of weapons that require specialized ammo, you may find that you are struggling to find that ammo. The general ammo you come across pretty easily in the world. As you kill things in general gameplay, you will pick up these different type of ammos. But in PvP is the difference. In PvP, for your power weapon, there's actually little areas that you can go and they're on timers and you can pick them up. But if someone picks it up, it resets the timer. So you may not come across ammo for your power weapon that you can use during PvP. If you go into a PvP match without the special ammo, so like it's a green icon and it's considered special ammo, so you have a weapon that requires special ammo, that's very difficult to get. If you go in with none of that in your inventory, you will have none. I mean, it gives you like 2 rounds or something when you start the match. And so you need to be very conscious. This isn't like most PvP games where they just give you unlimited ammo during PvP matches. You need to make sure you have ammo going into it, or else you'll have to switch to a weapon that uses regular ammo. So you have the ability to actually use your weapons in PvP. But it has PvP, a lot of open world. It has raids that are very difficult, and it is all based on a power score, which is pretty much the equivalent of your gear score. And so as you go to like level 500, you'll be able to go and do certain areas and kill certain things. And then, it goes up. So as you get a higher level versus a piece of helmet or weapon, that increases your average score of your items and changes where you can go in the world. So hopefully that helps you. That's kind of the beginnings of Destiny 2. As you go in there, that's what you'll need to know on day one, and as you start to kind of build your gear and pick your weapons. So that is Tip of the Week.
All right. And thank you very much for that, my friend.
Yes.
And yeah, check it out. It's by the way, I don't know if you mentioned or not, it's on the Battle.net launcher. That's where you have to get it.
Yep.
So it's an Activision game, Blizzard Activision, one thing. It seems like all of the new Activision games are going to be exclusive on the Battle.net launch. You may wonder why. Well, because Steam charges, what, 30% of anything sold on Steam, and a big company like Blizzard and Activision can pretty much give them the middle finger and say, go to hell. We're going to sell our game on our own launcher. And, I mean, anybody that's playing Call of Duty right now on the PC is playing it on Battle.net. So And I got to tell you, out of all of the launchers, there's a billion of them. Battle.net, I think, is probably the best one next to Steam. It seems like everybody's got a Battle.net account.
The downloads go quickly.
Yeah, it's not Origin, which is always a pain in the ass. I can never figure out how the hell to get to my game library. All this Battle.net is always pretty consistent. So, you know, if there were two launchers, I can live with, which is pretty much all I use is Steam and Battle.net. Everything else is kind of answered.
I never launch Origin.
No, very rarely do I launch Origin. Well, we'll see. A lot of people launch Origin. Battlefield 5 coming out this week. So
yeah. So one thing I was going to mention too is for people that are into Warcraft, they're doing a remaster of Warcraft 3, which I think is an interesting concept because these games came out, I mean, probably before you had a computer, right? These are games that I played in high school. And they're going to be remastering those, and I think that's actually fun because I can go in there and have kind of a similar experience. The problem is when you go and play a really old game, just like I mentioned my EverQuest experience. At the time, it seemed great. It seemed like everything was perfect in that game. You come back, and you're like, this is just a horrible looking game.
God, I feel like we've had this conversation about how your initial impressions and how you're playing the game and who you play it with tends to sway your opinion on how great it is or isn't. AKA, go back to Z whatever on H1Z1 is not always the best solution.
The problem. Yeah. So the thing is here they're doing a remaster. So when you go in, it'll probably in your mind be about the same as you remember because the graphics will be updated. You know, it'll be a smoother gameplay. So I think that this is the way to experience these rather than like I've been trying to go and play the old original Wolfenstein, which is fun, but I remember it having much better graphics and much better sound than what it really does. Like it'd be nice if they went and did a remaster of that. It would be fun because then you'd enjoy a little bit more going and playing all that old content.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we need to cover before?
No, we do need to do our giveaway though.
Yep. So we will be doing we're going to be doing Black Ops Blackout.
Yep.
So
and probably some
we'll
multiplayer too.
Yep. We'll just have some fun playing it.
Yep.
So if you have that game, make sure you join us, and we'll be doing that this Friday. So let's go ahead and roll for this giveaway. X Bravo, congratulations, X Bravo.
Joining us live tonight due to us being live on a Monday. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Oh, and we'll be back to our regular Tuesday schedule for I don't know of any other events coming up. For people that are wondering, in the States tomorrow, it's election day. I work in talk radio, so I've got to work tomorrow night. So that's why I won't be around tomorrow. But
we forgive you.
Yeah, we'll get over it. Right, we're here. We're doing a show. Oh, by the way, what do we got to decide, Brian? Seriously, we need to have a serious conversation this week. What are we doing for episode 200?
I don't know.
No, we seriously need to do something. It doesn't need to be crazy, but we need to plan it out. So, if anybody's got any suggestions, I really do need help. We really do need to figure out like what kind of fun gimmicky thing can we do for episode 200.
Yeah,
let us know, please.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out.
Fortnite dances and strippers are not the. Maybe we need to maybe we need to dress up as something. I don't know. What could we dress up as? Maybe we could. I don't know. We got to do something though.
Let's think about it.
Yes.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll figure it out. So if you want to find me at Boise Computer on Twitter, of course, my blog biteoftech.com, and make sure you go to our website. First of all, if you don't get notifications of our live shows, make sure you join our Steam group, and that will pop up just a really simple notification right before the show starts. Also, join our Discord if you haven't been in there. Maybe you're an old H1Z1 person and you're not a member of our Discord. I would encourage you to just click the link. It's a green button on the upper right of our website, and it's really easy to join. We also have our YouTube channel, our Twitch, which we do live here each and every week, and our audio-only forums. If you ever are wondering, maybe you want to link to a video that we discussed during the show or a page that we're referring to, we have show notes for all of our episodes. So make sure you go to our website, click the particular episode that you're wanting to see, and we'll have show notes for that whole episode right there with links that you can click and go wherever you want. So I think that is it, and thank you.
Yes, and here you can see this is what a show looks like. You can see all the notes in here, all the links, all the YouTube videos, and all that other fun stuff. Real quick, coming up Saturday, we normally do D&D on Saturday, and we're doing a special one-off game, a role play of Cyberpunk 2020. So it's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's a similar what kind of style of game is that? I guess it is a role play.
Like a dungeon crawler?
A dungeon crawler, yeah. So we're doing that Saturday night. It's a one-off series. So if you're interested in that and you're going to be around Saturday night, we typically start around 8 o'clock Eastern time, and you're going to be around, you want to play, ping myself or Brian on Discord, like now, before Thursday or Friday, and let us know. We'll get you in the campaign. We'll figure out how many slots are available, and we'll get you in there.
Very good. Sounds good. Also, if there's any news, if you ever want to post news, make sure you go into our Discord server, and we have a news channel. Yes, and that really helps me with putting together the notes, because if there's anything you want us to discuss, we always review that before the show and add necessary things to the show notes. So.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, Brian. Well, thank you very much. Again, sorry for the weird audio issues we had here. We've never had any...
We'll have to figure that out during the week.
Well, yeah, we'll have to just give it a try again. I'll post in a forum and be angry and see if anybody if anybody can help me. So sorry about that in the beginning of the show, but we got it sorted out here. Alrighty, folks. We're typically live on Tuesday, so if you're here on a Monday, thanks for joining us. But we'll be back next Tuesday at 7 at our regular time. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, as Brian said, visit our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us on Monday. We'll see you for episode 200 next Tuesday at 7. Have a great week, everybody. See you next time.